Hi guys, Amanda here from Zagat. We are at the RVD Test Kitchen in Williamsburg with Chef Jason Wilson. Hi Jason.
Hi there.
Thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for swinging by.
Yeah, so we are going to learn about coffee flour because I've never heard of it, and we're going to make some coffee flour brownies. Is that right?
That's right. So I'm glad to share it with you. I'm really fortunate, grateful. I'll tell you that. So coffee flour, I have some here. Looks a lot like cocoa powder. And I'm really proud to be able to say that I was one of the first chefs ever to play with it, oh gosh, 5 years ago now. And have really discovered not only versatility, but how we can play with it and put it in all sorts of foods. So it's fun to be able to introduce it and show you today in a brownie recipe in a way that is both familiar and easy and delicious, but also a way in which we can add fiber and antioxidants into such a delicious treat while simultaneously learning something cool about the coffee world.
And what's Friday?
Friday is National Coffee Day.
Yep.
Is that what's going on?
That's right.
So I gotta imagine it might somehow correlate, might have to work out. I'm gonna take you through the steps real quick. So dark chocolate right here. And it's worth mentioning, we're dealing with International Coffee Day and dealing with coffee flour. It's worth mentioning that we have caffeine in dark chocolate. That's equivalent to the amount in coffee flour. So just a slight amount here. So
how dark is this dark chocolate?
This is 68%.
All right, 68%.
So I'm going to take the dark chocolate, little pieces in cubes that we cut up, and I'm going to quickly microwave it rather than putting a double boiler. And if you're really interested in, or a savvy cook maybe, or really interested in doing it, you could take this chocolate, place it over a double boiler, simmer it for a while as you slowly stir it together. But I'm going to take the quick and easy way since I'm here in a nice apartment in Brooklyn.
How long do we have to microwave it for?
I'm going to give it a minute and 50 seconds. And this is mainly because I've done this a couple times now in the microwave. And then I'm going to put the butter in and add another 35 seconds on top of it and then just stir them all together. So it's a nice way to get the chocolate going without adding any unneeded water.
Can you tell us where these coffee beans are from again? Maybe you didn't tell us yet.
So well, you mentioned coffee beans,
yes.
Right? And that's a great segue into this. When I first, learned about coffee flour, I had only been exposed to coffee beans. So that whole thought process for me was, where coffee grows in that, equatorial band around the world. I figured there's a bunch of bushes out there growing beans, and then we get those green beans and make coffee, right? Totally untrue. So anyways, the more I found out, I'm going to show you. I found out that they're cherries. So in particular, there's a picture of my phone. That's my hand, actually.
Instagram plug alert.
There you go. That's my hand holding fresh coffee cherries in Nicaragua on a mountainside somewhere. And when I tasted them and ate them, obviously like any cherry, I ate the fruit. Fruit was almost like a cranberry, a fresh cranberry, or maybe a crab apple. And then I spit the pit out, and there was the coffee bean. So I was like, oh, that's what this is about. So anyhow, fast forward to turning it into coffee flour. We take that fresh fruit when it's harvested at origin, so in that equatorial band of countries around the world. We take that fresh fruit and quickly dry it as it's separated from the pit or from that bean. It's dried either in the sun or it's mechanized dries in big tumblers. And then we take that pulp that's left over, that dried fruit, and grind it in basically like a flour mill. So it turns into coffee flour. Here we have, essentially, is that cherry, that sun-dried cherry. This is Nicaraguan, but here we have that cherry turned into a flour that we're able to put into treats, into, you name it. I've got pasta and so forth with it. So back to this, we're gonna pull out the bowl of now hot chocolate. And you can see that I'm just going to move it around a little bit and see it starting to melt really easily, right? So 2 sticks of room temperature butter are going to go in on top. And for me, I just want to make sure that the chocolate is, yeah, there we go. You can see it's actually doesn't need to microwave too much at all. But I am going to take that step, make sure it's all done correctly. And I would suggest not holding the bowl by the bottom.
Just burn your hand there?
It's a little hot. So
I
anyways.
have a question.
Yeah.
So a lot of people cook now with almond flour as a substitute. Is this another place you could put coffee flour instead?
Almond flour as a substitute. So almonds are going to bring a little bit of flavor, and they're also going to bring protein, which coffee flour has protein. But it's also going to give you a little bit of this body from the almond flours. Again, coffee flour, which has almost 50% fiber, is going to give you body as well. So you can substitute it. However, almond flour also has oil. So you'll sometimes need to augment those recipes. But I'll tell you, the best coffee flour recipe that are some of the best recipes we've made are the ones with almond flour, because it tends just to work so well. And the flavors are fantastic. So
Sounds good in here.
I'm saying yes to all your questions,
yeah,
really.
Yes.
So the butter's kind of melting away here in this warm chocolate. You know, starting to look yummy. Now let's make it a little bit more so. I'm adding a little bit of vanilla extract to it. And you know, it's kind of rare, I guess, in a Brooklyn apartment that we find vanilla extract. But you can always add in bourbon instead, right? So, if needed.
Can you add bourbon and vanilla?
I guess it would taste delicious, right? A little smoky like, and a little bit of kosher salt. And then I'm going to take, now you can make this all by hand, but I'm going to incorporate here just because I find that it's going to be a lot better for the mixing of all ingredients. So we'll add in eggs next.
And how many eggs are you putting in here?
5 eggs are going in. Yes, we've cracked them in advance.
Yeah. TV magic.
Right? Lift at the top and then give them a quick run, quick mix here. It's cool to know, you know, when the eggs get in the chocolate, basically it's that water in the egg that starts to seize it up slightly. It's already happening with the butter, but now it starts to thicken up a little bit more. That's all fine. You're not going to break anything. And you see this kind of shine comes out of it as well. You know that everything's incorporated really well at that point. And we're going to start adding the remaining dry ingredients. And we'll start with white sugar and brown sugar.
Let me get a good of that brown sugar. All right, how much white sugar and brown sugar are we adding?
We had 2 tablespoons of the white sugar and then a cup of brown. Now, I actually augmented this recipe slightly to include more brown sugars because I enjoy the flavor more.
More than a cup.
Yeah. I think it's a delicious flavor,
yeah.
But it gives you, I think, a richer outcome of the brownies as well. So texturally, they're just really enjoyable. Now, I'm gonna scrape the sides down just a touch.
Can we eat this batter before it cooks or no?
I don't want to eat it yet. I want to put the flour in
Oh,
next.
We'll wait for the flour.
So we'll add in the all-purpose flour and the cocoa powder and give it a run.
So the coffee flour goes in last.
Well, technically, it can go in at any point of the dry ingredients.
Okay, we're just saving.
I'm just saving it for the, you know, the dramatic.
All right, here
so
we go.
we add in the coffee flour next.
Does it matter at all which order you put these in?
No, it doesn't. So, but you want to do that, mix the wet and add the dry, and then give it a good mixing. So I also didn't throw them all in there because I don't want to make a complete mess out of this test kitchen. So whip them up really nicely, and then it should be about ready to go there. I've got a pre-sprayed tray here, or baking pan. Oh yeah. So what you're looking for is this, you know, kind of thick togetherness, this great batter look. And there we go. So a little bit of vegetable spray, and our chocolate brownies go in at 300 degrees. for 25 to 30 minutes. And they'll actually just kind of spread themselves. All right, so
good.
A delicious recipe, right? So I'm gonna pop it in the oven real fast.
Oh, look what we found in there.
Oh my gosh.
What's that?
Someone snuck one of these guys in, it looks like, already. It's been baking for a little bit already, but you can see the look of these brownies. It looks like what you'd expect, although a little bit more delicious.
Are these all the way done?
They're almost there, but I want to bring them out to show you because, you know, it's relevant here. Look, it's the same old brownie, but you can also get the smell and aroma. And one of the cool things about coffee flour is that the skins, the fruit, that fresh cherry, it has a lot of that really natural acids in it. Antioxidants are there. So what happens when you put it into recipes is that the flavors are accentuated, almost accelerated. It's almost like putting a lemon into a butter sauce or adding acid into something else. I mean, it really helps out with the flavor. But with chocolate, the affinity is natural. And that's one of the coolest parts about it. This works so well with chocolate. And I can show you the end result here.
Whoa. Where'd these come from?
Well, technically I made those earlier today. But you can see that the 25 to 30 minute baking span we had us making a couple earlier. But you can see here that they're beautiful.
They are beautiful.
And the whole notion of being able to put something into baked goods or into snacks, into pancakes on a daily basis.
Yeah, you mentioned your daughter makes them with pancakes,
Yeah.
right?
Well, it's my son technically. So my son Farron will get a hold of jars of coffee flour. And I had someone earlier today ask me, so how do I get involved in it, or how do I use it for the first time? And I'm like, you know, let's not overthink it. Let's think about this stuff and just say, where would I put chocolate into my recipe? Well, a 9 or 11-year-old kid wants to put chocolate into everything, right? Especially a chef's kid. So I gave him this and I said, here, take this and go ahead and make pancakes. And so he takes the, Mrs. Butterworth's dry mix out, he gets the milk out, and then he gets this and he throws it in until it looks like, as he said, chocolate pancakes, and made pancakes with it. So from there I look at it and go, that's the entry level to it. I mean, we get as technical as making fresh pasta with it at the restaurant, granola.
Cool. You have it in fresh pasta at your restaurant?
Yeah.
Wow. And what's restaurant do people have to go to come and try this?
So you've got to come to Seattle, or when in Seattle, I should say. I have 2 restaurants. I have one in Seattle and then one in the adjoining city, Bellevue. It's called the Lake House in Bellevue, and then Miller's Guild in Seattle. So you'll see coffee flour products there. Many times you won't know it's happening. Sometimes we call them out on the menu, like with our coffee flour granola, and then chocolate cake as well. The brownie we actually will use quite often for Sundays because both my restaurants are in hotels, and the W Hotel will actually in Bellevue actually uses the brownie as part of their Sunday, and some chocolate bites that we have made in the turn down service.
Oh, we have a scary question. Someone wants to know how many calories are in this.
How many calories are in coffee flour?
We don't talk about calories in brownies.
No,
guys.
brownie and calories. No. This is nothing you talk about. It's the same thing when someone says to you, "How many drinks did you have?" and you just say 2. I mean, it doesn't matter if the glass was this big or this big. It's just 2. So yeah, chocolate brownies. We don't talk about that calorie. Let's talk about antioxidants and protein and fiber and things that are really good for you. I can talk to you about that all day long.
Cool. Awesome. All right, let's check them in the oven. I just want to see how they look baking in there.
Oh, no, they're going in. I haven't placed them
we
yet.
didn't even go in there. All right, let's get that.
All right.
Cool. And yeah, where can we get this recipe?
I can post it online.
It's available.
Someone's talking to me back there. Hold on a minute. Say it again louder.
It's available at coffeeflour.com.
Coffeeflour.com.
It's available at our website at coffeeflour.com.
Of course. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, so that would be online in a search engine somewhere. You just type it in.
Cool. Okay, now I'm going to give you the camera for a second because I'm going to try one of these coffee flour brownies. So you gotta
Okay.
put this on me. I'm going to come over here. Yeah, if you put your wrist on, we'll just go. Okay,
Oh,
so I'm
look
trying
at
my
that.
first coffee flour brownie. Oh yeah. That's good. It's like nice and light too.
So that's
All
going
right.
to be the fiber that makes it light because it's so high in fiber. It adds volume, and you're talking about almond flour earlier. It adds really great volume, and then that's
That's good.
mouthfeel.
So how many of these do I get to take home?
Well, technically, I brought you 2 trays, and then I also brought you some caramel corn too,
Oh my gosh.
which is
My
highly
lucky day.
addictive stuff.
Cool. Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right. Anything else you want to send us home with? Details or fun facts?
You know, well, details, yeah. I think it'd be cool if people got involved. Send us an email, send us a message on Facebook. You can purchase this over markspantry.com and Coffee Flour, and then hook me up as well. I mean, you can send me a Facebook message or an Instagram message, and I'll share what I know about Coffee Flour as well, which is, you know, it's a delicious way to get involved in creating a solution, both at origin, for the farmers and for the environment.
Cool. And we're going to be putting an Instagram story on Zagat, so you guys can get all that information there also.
Oh yeah, watch the behind the scenes.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, so this is awesome. These are our coffee flour brownies that we made. Super easy, super quick. Thanks, Chef Jason.
Thank you. Enjoy the day.